Coming up on the Rockbridge Report. The actors' strike may have ended this morning. The union and major film and television studios reached a tentative labor agreement Wednesday. We'll walk you through the long process to get to this point.
I'm a little disappointed, to be clear.
We'll also follow up on results from Tuesday's election and show you what else Governor Glenn Youngkin has to say about the results. From Richmond to Washington, see what has to happen by next week to avoid a government shutdown. There are also new developments in Lexington City Schools' push to ban books. Reporter Luke Fountain digs deeper into the controversial story. Business is booming in Buena Vista. We'll tell you about what's happening on Magnolia Street. And our Caroline Shemp will tell us how long these abnormally warm temperatures will last. All that and more coming up on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Erica Kenny.
And I'm John Beekman Youngblood. The last of the recent major strikes may be coming to an end. A tentative deal is reached between actors and major film and television studios, ending the strike that halted the entertainment industry. John Lawrence reports.
The 118-day soap opera in Hollywood appears to be getting ready to exit stage left.
It's a seminal deal, and it's just an amazing time for our union. It really is.
The SAG-AFTRA strike ended at 12:01 Thursday morning, according to union officials, who said in a statement the tentative agreement will, quote, enable SAG-AFTRA members from every category to build sustainable careers.
There's a lot of improvements on wage negotiations. One of the things that actors have been pushing for is to ensure that they are going to get paid out on streaming residuals.
The actors walked off the set July 14th with numerous complaints toward the Hollywood brass, including the use of artificial intelligence.
That has been the big sticking point for actors over the past few weeks. They wanted to ensure that protections for their actors were built into the contract.
Although some are already celebrating the end of the strike, a typical Hollywood happy ending isn't secured yet. The tentative deal still needs to be ratified before it becomes official. But assuming the pact gets the green light,
I would expect production to resume for your favorite films and series in January, and things that were pushed into the first quarter of 2024, those things might still air, but we're looking at a lot of things returning in the second quarter of the year.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers said in a statement that they look forward to resuming productions.
Tuesday's election results are still coming in, but it looks like Democrats will take both the Virginia State Senate and the House of Delegates. Currently, Democrats have remained in control of the Senate. With 21 seats going to the Democrats, only 19 are going to the Republicans. In the House of Delegates, Democrats have flipped the House of Delegates. With 51 seats going to Democrats, only 45 have gone to Republicans. Governor Glenn Youngkin shared his thoughts on the election in Richmond on Wednesday.
I'm a little disappointed, to be clear. And I think that that's just a natural reality. But we've stepped back and we recognize that, boy, this was a razor thin set of decisions that were made on both sides of a number of these races.
We have some breaking news out of West Virginia. Senator Joe Manchin announces he will not run for re-election.
After months of deliberation and long conversation with my family, I believe in my heart of hearts that I have accomplished what I set out to do for West Virginia.
Now let's see some updates for Rockbridge County races from Tuesday's election. In the 36th district, Republican incumbent Ellen Campbell has won with 14,062 votes, while Democrat Randall Wolf has lost with only 40% of the vote, 9,222 votes. This is with 28 out of 31 precincts reporting. In the 37th district, Republican incumbent Terry Austin has also won with 69% of the votes, with 18,615 votes exactly, while Democrat Stephanie Clark has lost with 8,214 votes, only 31% of the total votes. This is with 50 out of 55 precincts reporting. And in the 3rd Senate District, Republican Christopher Head has won the election with 66% of the votes, 41,161 votes in total, while Democrat Jade Harris has lost with 34% of the votes, 20,851 votes exactly. This is with 93 out of 102 precincts reporting. The Rockbridge Report spoke with State Senate candidate Jade Harris on election night about her thoughts on losing the race and those around the state.
While the results may not be what we wanted, I know that the people that came out to vote and voted behind me knew what they were doing and were very intentional about it, and that's everything that matters to me. Now, statewide, that's where things are really looking up. That's where I'm hopeful. Everything we've done here in District 3 was not just to prop up District 3, but to also ensure that our state, our Commonwealth, could move forward into a nice, beautiful future.
Lexington City Schools has removed 25 more books from the library shelves until further notice. They've yet to establish a policy about how books are selected or removed. It comes just over a month after the controversy erupted over sexually explicit content in schools. Luke Fountain reports.
Additionally, there are approximately 25 books currently being withheld by the administration for no reason other than they were listed on a political party's poster.
Those books will stay banned until the board adopts a policy about book selection and removal. Progress on that policy is stalled.
I think our hope was that we would be able to look at doing something in November. The board decided they wanted to get some additional feedback. My hope is that we'll be able to move on something in December.
The superintendent says the 25 books were pulled as a precautionary measure. Lexington schools have never had a policy about sexually explicit content in school materials. Neighboring Rockbridge County Schools already has a list of books in their libraries which the school system says have sexually explicit content. Action on book banning comes after Lizzie Brayman sent a letter to the school board in early September calling the book Kiss Number 8 anti-Christian. She threatened to resign from the elementary school if it wasn't removed. Lexington City Schools banned the books Kiss Number 8 and It's Perfectly Normal for being sexually explicit. As the proposed policy stands today, it implements a host of new parental oversight measures and a formal process for reviewing and removing books. Notably, this is not the first time a book selection and removal policy has been floated. In 2022, more than a year before controversy erupted, the librarian made a proposal, but says the board ignored her.
I was asked back in the winter of 2022 to create a library collection development and selection policy, which I did. It's right here. In the over a year and a half time since then, I asked after the policy repeatedly and was repeatedly told by the administration that they did not agree with everything I had included.
The superintendent says the school district decided not to take up the policy because it was too long. It is unclear when the school board will vote on a new policy. School board officials say they hope to bring it up at their next meeting in December. However, no one is committed to any firm deadlines. They've continually delayed voting on the new policy. From Lilburn Downing Middle School, I'm Luke Fountain with the Rockbridge Report.
There were also local school board elections on Tuesday. In a move that shocked many, Lena Ogier flipped the Buffalo district seat, winning the election with 53% of the vote, 816 votes exactly, while Ann Russick lost the election with 46% of the vote, 715 votes. This is with 4 out of 5 precincts reporting.
A grand jury on Monday indicted a former W&L student on sexual assault charges. Police said that Ricardo Vergara sexually assaulted a fellow student in January. Vergara was arrested in February and currently faces 2 felony charges and 1 misdemeanor charge.
State Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced proposed legislation to temporarily prevent a government shutdown. Congress avoided a shutdown on October 1st by passing a stopgap spending bill funding federal agencies through November 17th.
In a little over a week, the federal government will shut down if Congress does not come together to pass a bipartisan extension of funding. Today, I am taking the first procedural step for the Senate to move forward on a legislative vehicle we can use next week to pass a temporary extension to avoid a government shutdown.
This comes amid anticipation for the new House Speaker, Mike Johnson, to reveal his plans. Schumer's move is a sign the House and Senate are likely headed for a clash in the shutdown fight.
After the break, we'll show you what was said at last night's GOP debate.
Hi, this is Caroline Shimp with the Rockbridge Report. After an unusually hot October, we've headed into November, which will hopefully bring us some much cooler temperatures. Your 5-day forecast is up next.
Also after the break, see what new places you can now visit in the typically quiet downtown Buena Vista.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin declared a state of emergency Tuesday as firefighters responded to 2 wildfires. Dry conditions and high winds are to blame. Virginia's fall fire season runs through November 30th, but officials said drought conditions have made these fires challenging to contain.
The third Republican presidential debate was an evening with foreign policy in focus. 5 candidates are vying to be seen as the best alternative to GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. Mike Valerio shows us how the group of candidates presented their case in Miami.
Among the 5 Republican presidential candidates on stage, the question of who's the strongest alternative to former President Donald Trump was pressing for both former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
You're trying to make up for it and act like you weren't a liberal when it comes to the environment. You were. You always have been. Just own it.
She welcomed them into South Carolina, gave them land near a military base, wrote the Chinese ambassador a love letter saying what a great friend they were.
Joining them on the Miami debate stage, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, and South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. A major theme, foreign policy, with America's role in focus as war rages between Israel and Hamas.
I would be telling Bibi, finish the job once and for all.
They have to, 1, eliminate Hamas. 2, support Israel with whatever they need whenever they need it. And 3, make sure we bring our hostages home.
The candidates also took stock of Tuesday's election results, including key victories for Democrats in Virginia and Kentucky, as voters in red state Ohio approved a constitutional amendment to protect abortion rights.
We need a 15-week federal limit. This is an issue that should be decided in each state.
I think there's something deeper going on in the Republican Party here, and I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers.
Instead of debating, the former president held a rally nearby in Hialeah, Florida.
We will win because we will never stop fighting to save the America we love.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
The 4th Republican debate is set for December 6th in Alabama, and the first Iowa caucuses are just over 2 months away.
8 new businesses have opened in downtown Buena Vista this year. The Rockbridge Report's Emma Malinak is live in Buena Vista right now with some encouraging news for residents there.
A Main Street Buena Vista official says storefronts on Magnolia Avenue are filling up faster than they are moving out for the first time since the 1980s. In downtown Buena Vista, for sale signs are coming down and restaurants, gift shops, and community spaces are popping up. Buena Vista's Director of Economic Development says the growth is inspiring. There were more than a dozen empty storefronts just 5 years ago.
Everyone should come out and check it out, because once you do, you'll see a difference.
Locals say downtown was booming in the early 1900s, but floods in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s destroyed buildings and forced manufacturers and small businesses to move out. Some residents say the city has never recovered.
It's almost like a ghost town.
Other locals, including Southern Virginia University students, describe downtown as lively and say they visit at least once a week. Main Street Buena Vista, a nonprofit founded in 2022, has been working behind the scenes to support the revival of downtown. From sprucing up flower beds to decorating vacant storefronts, volunteers at Main Street Buena Vista are making downtown more welcoming for both current and future business owners. One new business, Asunder Coffee Roasters, opened its doors in September. Owner Adam Lawrence says his focus is on educating people about the art and science of making coffee.
And our hope is that coffee can be part of the equation to kind of bring people in and maybe stop for a second instead of just driving through.
Blocks away, Focus Fitness opened in October. Owner Sarah Henson says she hopes locals can clear their heads in the distraction-free gym.
We used to have a lot of businesses, and I've watched them go away, and I'm happy to see some coming back into town, and I'm happy to be a part of that.
Most of the new businesses are owned by lifetime residents or SVU graduates. But some new business owners came to the area because of recent efforts to revive downtown Buena Vista. Reporting live from downtown BV, I'm Emma Malinak, the Rockbridge Report.
When we return, Caroline Shemp brings us her 5-day forecast.
Later in the show, the Washington and Lee University men's soccer team season hung in the balance earlier this week. And coming up right after the break, we'll tell you about some electrifying developments underway in Rockbridge County.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Virginia is pushing to sell only electric cars by 2035. One roadblock is the lack of car charging stations in rural areas. Rockbridge County will soon get more charging stations and gas stations at hotels. Jack Krause explains the situation on Rockbridge Report's website at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
There's an alarming report about climate change. Europe's climate monitor reports October was the warmest month on record. October is now the 5th straight month that global temperatures have hit record highs. The Copernicus Climate Change Survey says 2023 is set to be the warmest year ever. Speaking of warm temperatures, it's been quite hot around here as well.
Yeah, I'm about ready to see some colder temperatures, more like November weather. You have some good news for us, Caroline?
Lucky for us, this upcoming week will be cooling down, so let's take a look at our current conditions. You're currently looking at a live shot of downtown Buena Vista. Now let's take a look at our current conditions. It was very hot today here in Lexington. We reached a high of 80 degrees. The low for tonight will be 45 degrees. The barometric pressure is 29 88/100 inches. Wind speed at 7 miles per hour, and the humidity is 45%. Let's look at our radar. Lucky for us, we have no showers on the radar, so let's move into our regional temperatures. Similarly, the region has been very hot. Stanton at 78, Charlottesville the hottest and sunny at 83 today. Lynchburg reached 82 degrees as well. Buena Vista 77, Lexington 77 and cloudy. Heading over to Covington, lucky for them, a little cooler at 63 degrees. In Roanoke, the same, 79, much hotter. All right, let's head into our 5-day forecast. We're cooling down. Fortunate for us, Friday is going to be a high of 52. We do have a chance for showers, and we'll be getting down to the low 30s. Saturday, it'll be sunny, a great day for Veterans Day, with a high of 55 and a low of 31. Back to Sunday, we have 51 degrees, a sunny, low of 28. Heading into the beginning of our week, Monday will be sunny, a little warmer with a high of 58 and a low of 31. Following that trend on Tuesday, a high of 60 and sunny with a low of 28. Back to you, Erica and John Beekman.
Thanks, Caroline. Coming up, see how this unbelievable collision made this man $1,000 richer.
And then, we'll tell you what these cheers mean for W&L men's soccer for the rest of their season right after the break. Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report.
Now it's time to hold on to your jerseys, folks.
We've got sports coming. Alina, let's hear it.
What a wonderful introduction. Thanks, John B. and Erica. Washington and Lee's men's soccer team finished runner-up in Sunday's ODAC championship against Lynchburg. Mackenzie Kane spoke with coach Michael Singleton about the team's future.
Good afternoon, Rockbridge. I'm here on Washington and Lee's Watt Field, where the Generals men's soccer team unfortunately just fell shy of the conference championship title. Joining me here on field is head coach Michael Singleton. Now, Coach, I know this wasn't the outcome that the team was hoping for. Can you just walk me through what you saw on the field there today?
Well, I think it's just we didn't execute our game plan long enough to be able to walk out with a victory today. And they played a very good game, and they're a strong team. And it's just when we executed our game plan, we scored and we looked like a strong team, but we just didn't do it for enough time to really warrant the win today.
Now, it's not over yet. The team still waits an answer on whether or not they received a bid for the wild card slot for the NCAA playoffs. What message are you telling your team to make sure that they keep that competitive fire alive?
Well, it's a conversation we had after the game was I don't want them to feel sad. I want them to be angry. And I think we're very likely to get in that large bid to the NCAA tourney, and we got bigger championships to play for. So let's get focused better, execute better, and go win something bigger.
Anything in particular you're looking to focus on as you near that next game?
Well, I think we need to own the ball a bit better and counter with speed, because when we do that, we're a very dangerous team. But I don't think we did that enough today. When we did, we scored, but we have to do it much more often.
Thank you for your time, Coach. I hope you get that answer that you're looking for. And signing off with a Rockbridge Report, I'm Mackenzie Kane.
It turns out we will see the Generals compete on Watt Field again this season. Watch as the team reacts to receiving an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament.
All right, 4 remaining to unveil. They're all heading to Washington and Lee.
The men's soccer team will host Western Connecticut State Saturday in the first round of the NCAAs at 11 a.m. The women will start their tournament against number 3 seed Carnegie Mellon at 3:30 p.m. tomorrow on NYU's field. The Generals football took down ODAC rival Bridgewater by a score of 31-21 Saturday, improving to the 7-2 on the season. They'll face another ODAC foe in Shenandoah this weekend. Generals volleyball kicked off its ODAC tournament with a 3-1 victory over Roanoke. They traveled to face top seed Virginia Wesleyan tonight for a spot in Saturday's final. Heading next door to VMI, the Keydets took down ETSU 31-24 this past weekend. They'll face some steep competition on Saturday when they meet number 2 ranked Furman. Speaking of Furman, the men's soccer team lost to the Paladins 1-4 last week in the first round of the Southern Conference tournament. They finished the season with a 5-14 record. Men's basketball opened its season with a 75-93 defeat to Richmond. They'll try to bounce back tonight when they host Christendom at 7 p.m. The Rockbridge County High football team caps a winless season with a 42-6 loss to William Monroe. Girls volleyball improves to a 26-1 on the year, taking a victory set to none victory over Rustburg. The Perry McClure Fighting Blues football team scored a 34-14 victory over Eastern Montgomery and now sit at 6-4 this season. They travel to face George Y. High tomorrow. That's all for sports. Back to you, Erica.
Thanks, Selena. There's another flying deer to look out for this upcoming holiday season. Video shows one leap over 2 cars and land in a pickup truck in New Jersey. The jump isn't the end of the story, though, as CNN's Jeannie Moose reports.
13-year-old Troy Westcott was outside his Mays Landing, New Jersey home shooting hoops with his dog Parker when he heard rustling in the leaves. The dog spotted the deer first. But just as spectacular as the leap was this coincidence. The 2007 Chevy Silverado pickup was for sale. And at the exact same moment the prospective buyer pulled up to cinch the deal, the deer slammed into the pickup.
What did he say?
He was just shocked. He was like, oh, wow.
Troy's dad was likewise stunned.
Oh my God!
But the buyer wasted no time in asking,
how about a little break on the price for the damage to the truck?
The dent left by the young buck saved the buyer $1,000 off the asking price. The seller started cracking jokes.
We think that the deer was trained. I said, man, I know y'all brought that deer with you.
As the video went viral, commenters had 2 questions.
People are asking, is the deer okay?
He seems to be okay, spotted on a neighbor's trail camera.
People are asking if the truck is still for sale.
Nope, sold. But it took a flying deer to make a pickup less dear by $1,000. Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
We know what you're thinking, gun owners of Rockbridge. Either sex hunting season is open on private land starting this Saturday, November 11th. That's all for the Rockbridge Report. Thanks for watching.
For more local and national news, check our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Join us again Tuesday for our live update at 3:30, and next Thursday, it's another half-hour edition of the Rockbridge Report.